Welcome back to another episode of Meeting Virginia, guys. Today we have Naimeh.
Hi.
Did I pronounce that right?
Yeah, it's Naimeh.
Okay, all right, cool. First of all, thank you for being on the show.
Of course.
It's great to have you on. For anyone watching, could you give a brief summary about yourself?
Yeah, so...
Kind of why you started DJing?
So I started DJing about 2 years ago, and I did it because I was always passionate about music from like a really young age. But pretty much after high school, like after I graduated, I went to my first club, and I saw the DJ, and I was like really intrigued by what he was doing. I was like, this is so cool, and just the like fact that you can control the energy of a room, like it's all in your hands for the whole night, was so cool to me. So I told myself I was gonna do it. And I just kind of started teaching myself how, and it all came together.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
And do you have like a background in music? Do you play any instruments?
No, well, I used to sing in high school. I really liked singing, but that's it. I've always just been like really passionate about music itself.
Okay. Do you know, out of curiosity, do you know DJ Z Breezy?
I do.
Okay, I had him on the show. I think he was my either first or second episode ever, and he gave a similar reason why he likes DJing. I think in his words he said he likes to control people, but not like in a negative way. So it's kind of cool that you said the same thing.
Yeah.
So I'm kind of curious, what's your favorite genre of music that made you really, is it more like a techno thing? Is it more like just
hip-hop?
Hip-hop?
Yeah, and then when I started getting into spinning, I really liked EDM. I used to hate it. I used to hate EDM. But now I love it, so, because it's so nice to, like, it's so cool to mix EDM music and house music and all that. So I'm into those two a lot. But yeah, it all started that night. Like, I think I went to, like, a hookah bar and there was a DJ. And I always, like, loved the music they were playing, but I was actually watching him, and I was like, how is he doing this? So from there, I didn't think I could do it just because I never seen a female DJ at that point. There weren't a lot. So I was like, there's no way. But then I just like started, and it was pretty easy. And
how long did it take you to kind of, you said you've been doing it now for about 2 years.
Yeah.
So how long did it take you to get into it?
Like, to actually, well, my first gig, honestly, I got it in like a few months. It was so fast.
You got your first gig in a few months?
Yes. So I got booked for my first gig in DC. And that was pretty big because I didn't really know what I was doing. But I took the gig because I was like, you know what? I just have to start somewhere. Yeah. And if they think I can do it, I can do it. So I went there, and it was pretty good. I opened for another DJ at this club called Late Lounge. So, and it went pretty well. From there, other clubs kind of heard about me out there. And it just like, it was like a domino effect from there, honestly.
Wow.
Yeah.
So I'm just trying to like wrap my head around this. So you hadn't DJed at all?
No.
A few, like you said, a month or so, 2 months into it?
I never had a gig. I was just, I used to go to the Barnes & Noble in Loudon.
Yeah.
Every day and just like download music and try to teach myself.
Wow.
How to spin.
And they paid you for the first?
Yeah, I got $300 awesome. For my first gig. Yeah.
That is amazing. Okay. And do you also DJ in Northern Virginia, or is it more just kind of like DC?
So I started in DC, so like all the people I knew were out there, and that's who really knew about me, but I'm always out here. So I did spin in Leesburg, like Tarbenders and Sidebar and stuff. And then I always went out to one Loudon too, but that was kind of like my like party scene. Like I'd kind of like go party there with my friends, and then when I got booked, I'd go to the city and stuff like that. So combination of the both.
I feel like it's probably a better crowd to DJ
so
to
much better.
in DC.
Yeah, I honestly don't. The crowd, it's so different.
Yeah. That is interesting. Okay. So I meant to ask too. I tried to, in a very not stalkerish or creepy way, to figure out more about, one, your name, your DJ name, DJ RunWay. Yeah. And kind of see if there's a story behind that. I couldn't find anything. So I'm curious to know.
Everyone asks this. It's so funny. So pretty much before I started spinning, I kind of already had a decent following on social media from modeling. I was doing like a lot of photo shoots like every weekend. So at one point I wanted to start modeling professionally. Like that was my passion. So what happened was it was really rushed. I got my first gig like the night I was like trying to teach myself how to DJ. Like I just bought my first controller, and they wanted me to come out, and then I was like, yeah, that's fine. And the guy was like, so what's your name so we can put it on the flyer? And I didn't have one.
It's like,
so I'm like, I really need something right now that rhymes with DJ, because I kind of envisioned the MC like hyping me up, and I was like, something needs to sound really like flow nice. And I was like, I literally went on Google and I was like, words that rhyme with DJ. And I saw Runway, and it really reminded me of myself because I loved modeling at that time. And when I thought of Runway, I was like, that's a model, that's a girl, like that's so pretty. So I was like, I want to use that. And honestly, people like get caught on really fast. So I just went with it.
It is catchy. It is catchy.
Yeah.
I'm curious. So have you ever done like, have you ever seen like wrestling, how they have their walk when they come from like the back to the ring?
Yeah.
You should do, I don't know if you've ever done this. If not, I'm throwing this out here. You've heard it first on camera. You should have like a walkway to your set, or I don't know what they call it.
That would be so dope, yeah.
And you're just like, DJ RunWay. You
I
just
know.
walk out, do the runway walk, and then you start DJing.
Yeah, that'd be really cool. Should try that.
You guys heard it here first.
You'll see.
Okay, so I'm kind of curious. So I had a DJ, Jason, I don't know if you
Yeah,
know
I
him.
know both of them.
Okay, I had him on a few days ago, and we kind of talked about DJing now with sort of
COVID and stuff.
COVID and everything going on. Has that affected you, or?
Yeah, so right when I was like really like in my zone, like getting booked all the time, COVID hit, and then everything shut down. That's when I decided to go to school like full time, because I was part time before then. So I started doing full time school at Nova, and then it kind of like, since I was always like spending in the city, everything out there was like either curfew, and I still had a full time job. So like, yeah, it really affected spending a lot.
And what are you still studying at Nova?
Yep, I'm still studying there and working full time.
Okay, what are you studying there?
I'm doing IT and business.
Okay, that's interesting.
Yeah.
Okay, so I'm gonna like geek out because I love talking about business stuff. We talked a little bit about you thinking about real estate.
Yeah.
I guess, is that sort of the primary goal, or are you thinking about something else in business?
So that's something I really want to just like have on the side to do and always kind of fall back on. But I want to do like business and marketing more, with like social media and stuff.
Are you trying to be like an influencer?
No.
No.
I hate that word.
Everyone hates the word influencer now.
Like, I'm not an influencer. But yeah, kind of just like helping companies like with branding and marketing and stuff like that.
Okay, that's cool. Do you do like any content creation at all? I guess besides maybe your own personal stuff. But
not yet. Just for myself right now, I'm trying to just focus on IT too, because I want to do cybersecurity.
Okay.
So school's really taking up a lot of time.
That's pretty cool. It's a very interesting sort of combination. It's like DJing, cybersecurity, business.
I know. I gotta pick up on the DJing anytime. I really need to do that.
That is pretty dope. Okay, so I'm gonna go back to music a little bit. So you said you were sort of mostly inspired by hip hop and kind of EDM when you first jumped into it.
Yeah, so like all throughout like high school, middle school and stuff, like I just loved music, and hip hop was my favorite genre. So I definitely just wanted to like, I guess like in this area, I feel like everyone kind of listens to like the generic, everything's on the radio, and the stuff that I would listen to was really good, but it was never played around here, and that's what bothered me, because I was like, a lot of the DJs were just playing the same things. So I was like, I want to do this and play things that people haven't heard but will love. So that kind of pushed me too. So
you were playing more sort of underground type stuff, like the things that people don't really hear about as much, but if they do hear it, they're gonna love it. Kind of turn up. Okay.
Yeah.
Do you have someone in particular that I guess comes to mind? I probably won't know who it is, but.
Well, actually, my favorite artist is Chris Brown, starting, I think, coming into the industry.
Okay.
I feel like he wasn't played a lot. If he was, it was like a few of his like bangers, but like it's so much more. So he was one of the top artists. And then like, especially like Pop Smoke and other artists like him, I feel like they weren't really appreciated in this area as in the city. And like there were so many songs in the city that people go crazy for, but over here they wouldn't know. So I'm like, I want to bring a different vibe to my area. Okay.
And out of curiosity, I guess when you go from playing in say DC to playing in say One Loudon to playing in say like downtown Leesburg, like at Tarbenders or something, I guess would you say that there's a big difference, or is it like maybe a minor difference, no difference at all?
Like between like Ashburn and Leesburg and stuff?
Yeah.
Versus the city.
Versus kind of the city compared to like Leesburg and Ashburn. Yeah. Because I would imagine, I've never really thought about it until now, but I would think that like the energy is probably, I feel like one.
So different.
It's really different. I feel like the music people are probably going to react to will be different in like DC compared to like Tarbenders or
I think it's a lot more cultured in the city too. Yeah. You could mix just about anything and they'll know what you're playing and just be a lot more like cultured and open-minded. Over here it's kind of like everyone, you have to like play the generic like
the bangers.
Kind of song, and like the old school music, but like it's super different. The energy of the crowd is different as well.
That makes sense. So I'm curious, I'm going to ask this one first. I feel like it'll be a more interesting story if you have one. What is your worst DJ experience? If you have one. Maybe you don't have one, but
like a fail moment or kind of like the crowd? Like
whichever comes to mind is the worst. If you have a fail, I feel like a fail would be funnier. But
like when I first started. When I first started something, like I wanted to die when this happened. I was spinning in DC and there was another DJ coming on after me, and when he came on, like he didn't know I was new. He couldn't tell at first, but pretty much there was a song playing and I completely like my elbow hit one of the buttons that changes the song to the other, and it just like knocked it, so the song completely cut off and changed to something so slow from like a hype song, and I wanted to die. Like it was the worst moment ever. That was one of my first gigs, so that was pretty bad because everyone was looking at me like, what is she doing?
They're like, wow, she's new here. She doesn't know what's going on.
Yeah, like, oh my God. And the booth was so small, so everything was really tight. It was terrible, but I think that's it.
I feel like that's not too bad.
It's a rookie mistake.
Yeah, like in my head I'm picturing like, oh yeah, my first time as a DJ, I actually tripped over a cord, knocked over the entire booth, the entire establishment caught fire. No. And it's like, okay, that's a bad story.
No, but I was also getting in, like, I was DJing underage too, so I wasn't even allowed to be in the club, but I was the DJ. So like a lot of people, a lot of people didn't know that.
Wait, so like, were you allowed to DJ underage, or did you just like? Okay.
Yeah, they allowed it because I was DJing. But this is actually really funny. So I went to this club. It's called the Griffin, in DC, and I was spinning there, and it was a Saturday night. So I was working here in Loudon, and I like rushed over there within like 30 minutes from how I got there. Parked, came in with all my stuff, and there's a line outside already. It's already packed. And the bouncer wouldn't let me in because I was underage. I just said I didn't have my ID. And he was like, yeah, you can't come in. And I was like, so what are you guys going to do? I was like, I'm the DJ. He was like, no, you're not. He didn't believe me. So I was like, dude, I got all my stuff. And I showed him, and they told him I was. And so he just like let me in. But it was so embarrassing because I got rejected. And I was like, I'm supposed to be here. It's crazy.
Did he not see you carrying?
Like, at that time, I just had like my backpack with me, so I kind of looked like crazy. I looked like some school kid walking into the club. But I was like, no, my laptop's in here. Like, I need to get in. So that was definitely embarrassing.
That's interesting. That's funny, actually.
Yeah.
What would you say has been your, I guess, best DJing experience?
Probably at this bar in DC. It's called the Public Bar in Sofhaus. It's right across from Decades, and it's like 2 levels. That was my first gig that was like really packed, and the energy was really good. I loved it. But in the beginning, like, it was my best and least favorite gig. just because at the beginning I forgot my controller at home. And I don't know how I did that. I normally leave it in my car, but that day I took a different car and I forgot. So I had my laptop. I went all the way out to DC. I was freaking out, and I live in Leesburg, so I was an hour away. I went from like club to club asking to borrow one.
Are you serious?
Running around DC, yeah. I went to the manager. I was like, I'm gonna figure this out. I went to Rose Bar. I went to Decades. I was like, I need some sort of control.
Wait, so I'm just sorry to cut you off. I'm just like in my mind trying to picture it. So like, you're in the bar, ready to like throw down.
Yeah.
It's like, I'm just making up a time. It's like 10 p.m.
Yeah.
And you're like, I don't have my controller. Do you just leave like while music's playing, or like?
No music was playing. They were waiting on me for music. So there was so much pressure. I was like, oh my God, I'm done. The city's gonna cancel me. Like, I need to figure this out. So I'm like running. And I had a lot of like club owners, friends who were club owners and managers in that area. So I just kind of like hit up everyone I knew. I ended up getting one and borrowing one from a DJ down there. And it worked out.
Wow.
Yeah. And it was really lit. So it was like the least and like most favorite experience of mine.
It's like, it was unfortunate at first, but it kind of worked out in the end.
I got really lucky.
I'm surprised that another DJ, I mean, I guess I wouldn't know how frequently DJs would have controllers just around.
A lot more. I didn't think so either. A lot more than you think.
Like, you would think he'd be like, oh, I kind of need this for like my show in like 20 minutes. I can't just let you have this.
Yeah, so this guy actually just finished a day party. So he was done. He was just going
to
go.
Lucky.
I know, I got really lucky.
So I'm curious, what would you have done had that not worked out? Like,
I would have drove to Leesburg.
You have driven like an hour back.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
I would have had to. I felt so bad because I was actually like booked there by a DJ that I was friends with. Yeah. And I didn't want to let him down and make him look bad, so I was like, I was so ready to come back to Leesburg.
That is respect. That's very respectable though, because I feel like I might have just been that kind of guy who's like, you know what, I guess we gotta cancel. I'm sorry. Like,
I was not canceling. Like, we're doing this.
Wow. Okay. So I'm curious to know too. I talked to. It's funny that you brought up you're doing cybersecurity, and I talked to DJ Jason a few days ago, and he does. I think he's a software engineer.
Really?
Which is interesting that there's two DJs.
I never knew that.
Yeah, I didn't know that either until a few days ago. That's so
awesome.
What made you? We talked about business a little bit. I guess what also kind of draws you to cybersecurity?
Honestly, it pays really well. So first, I would say
that's fair. That's fair.
But also, I've always like been really like into computers and stuff like that, and I've always been good at like managing them and just. I'm always the person, the techie person that's helping my friends and family with that kind of stuff. So I'm like low-key a nerd with that. But I started taking like IT classes and I got like straight A's in them. They're really easy for me. So I was like, let me just try this.
Are you like in love with it now, or are you just kind of?
No. I mean, it's kind of like boring, but it's something I can do that I'm pretty good at and pays well.
Yeah. The other day I was talking about, it's funny because like I feel like some people like, okay, I'm a nerd about this. Like I feel like people have like more of a left brain that they're in tune with, and like a right brain. Yeah. And I feel like right brain people are more like creative and stuff like that.
That's what I've heard.
And then left brain is more like logical. And I feel like anything technology related is like left brain. So you get, I don't know, I don't want to use a bad terminology. Like you know Elon Musk, right? You get people like Elon Musk who are kind of super logical, but very like weird to talk to and kind of quirky, not in a bad way, but just a little bit different. And I feel like right brain people, super fun to talk to, but when it comes to like those super technical things, they're just kind of like,
nothing's
like,
there.
I don't want to talk about this. So it's just interesting, you and Jason, that you guys both are.
Yeah, a little bit of both. Yeah, in the middle. That's crazy.
Because I feel like anyone who's like a DJ, I'm thinking more right brain.
Yeah, that's what everyone assumes.
Yeah, honestly. Yeah. So that's pretty cool. That is very interesting. Okay, so when's your next gig? I'm curious.
Right now I don't have one, so I'm working, like I work Monday through Friday, and then on the weekends I'm like catching up on homework. But I did get asked to do like a brunch gig in DC, so I'm thinking about doing that on a Sunday that I'm off. But yeah, we'll see. Gotta stay tuned.
It's pretty cool. And are you above the age now to actually
I'm 22.
attend? Okay. Just wondering.
Finally.
Because they're gonna watch the video and say, "Oh, she might be a little bit too young. I don't know if we can let her come back."
No, everything's good now. I went through everything. Like, oh my gosh, it was so hard when I was 20 and 19 too. Like, I never had a fake ID.
Yeah.
Somehow I got in, but it was the worst. It was so hard.
Yeah, that I don't know how people pull off like the fake ID.
I'm too scared.
I've never tried, but like I've had friends with fake IDs.
Yeah.
And they don't look or feel.
They don't look real. Yeah.
So I'd be that guy who would like have it and walk into the bar, and the guy goes, "Can I see?" I get nervous even.
Yeah,
I'm old enough,
I get so
nervous. So they're gonna say this is fake. It's like, no, man, it's actually random story. I know I'm kind of deviating. I have my license is still. I'm from Philadelphia, and my license is still a PA license because I'm too lazy to get it changed until it expires. And I went to someplace in downtown Leesburg, and the guy looks at it and he kind of goes like, "Is this real?" I'm like, "Yes, it's a real PA license, not Virginia." And he's like, "Well, you can't come in with a PA license." I was like, "Well,
why?
I'm definitely a lot older than 21, so
yeah."
And he almost didn't let me in, but
that's crazy.
It's funny that like I don't know. People have fake IDs and they don't get nervous.
Yeah.
But
or some people use like another person's ID that's actually real but it looks like them. I couldn't even do that. I can't find anyone who looks like me enough to do that.
Yeah. So I'm curious, what are your, I guess, do you have a sort of 5-year plan in mind or kind of a goal for the next 5 years?
Yeah, so I want to transfer to Mason to get my bachelor's and finish school. And then I want to move to like a big city like Miami or LA and kind of try DJing out there and see where that takes me.
That'd be pretty cool.
That's like the dream.
Yeah. Plus it's actually like nice weather.
Yeah.
Like all year round.
I don't do the cold at all.
Me neither.
I can't with it.
Yeah. That's kind of like a goal of mine, just to go to like, at least when it's cold here.
Yeah.
Like Florida or like California.
Yeah,
without COVID.
Yeah, without COVID.
Let me think. There's something else I wanted to. Oh, have you ever seen the movie? I'm gonna forget the name. I think it's called "We're Your Friends" with Zac Efron. It's like this DJ movie.
Maybe.
I don't want to say too much in case you haven't watched it because it's pretty good.
Yeah.
But there's a scene in it where he's talking about kind of controlling the crowd with DJing, and there's a certain like beats per minute. I think it's like 150. I could be completely wrong, but it's like when you get to 150 beats per minute, that's where everyone kind of gets pumped up. Have you found that to be true at all, or is that something that you sort of plan out? I guess your songs that technically as far as like beats per minute to get the crowd going, or are you just kind of like, let's put on bangers and let's just...
Yeah, so I'll pretty much like start with a BPM that I know a lot of songs will go like well together with just to open up because I know what I want to finish off with. There's like maybe 10 to 15 songs I need to like finish off the set with that are the most lit, that everyone loves. But like opening up, I definitely kind of plan beforehand. It just depends, or sometimes I'll just look through my library and see what fits best. But I always jump around, so I definitely don't really pay attention too much to that.
Okay. And how do you, do you like when people do music requests, or do you hate that? Because I've met some DJs that hate when people request music.
Yeah, I don't.
Okay.
I don't. I mean, here and there, like if it's a good song, then that's fine. But if they request some weird shit, I'm like, no, I'm sorry, I can't.
So no like Freebird at like, not while you're throwing down EDM or something, or Chris Brown.
No. Or some people, like some artists have their own songs they want me to download and play, and I'm like, I've never heard that.
Wait, you mean like people will come in
with their like SoundCloud and like MP3 files, like, can you download this and play my song? And I'm like,
wow.
Oh yeah, it's happened so much.
That's actually pretty.
I mean, you're bold for
That's
asking.
bold, yeah.
But I've never heard this. I'm not gonna play something that's gonna make me look bad.
It's like, hey, download my song right now, so like I can be like the shit here and now.
Yeah, I get a lot of emails of like tracks and all this stuff.
That's kind of cool. I mean,
yeah, I listen to a few of them here and there.
That's pretty cool. All right. Is there anything else that you want to share with the viewers that I might have missed or might not have gone over?
I don't think so.
All right. And for anyone watching, where's the best place for them to find you?
Oh man, One Loudon.
One Loudon.
Recently, yeah.
Okay.
I've been in Ashburn a lot.
Okay. Do you have a like a Facebook page or social media?
I have Facebook and Instagram.
Okay.
Yeah.
Are they DJ?
Yeah, so my Instagram's DJRUNWAYDMV and my Facebook's just Naimeh.
Okay. All right. I think that was all I had.
Cool.
Thank you so much for being on the show.
Thanks for having me.
No problem. Looking forward to you guys watching the next video. See you guys.
Bye.